Hey guys, and welcome back to another Create This Book adventure. And today we are going to do something a little bit different. When I first turned to this page, I thought, oh, this looks fun. This prompt is called Create a Test, and basically we are testing the difference between our right and left hand. The instructions are pretty simple. Draw or write something in box number 1 using your dominant hand and then try to duplicate it in box number 2 using your non-dominant hand. Simple enough, right? Well, for me, this page actually turned out to be a little more interesting than I expected, because there is a little bit of a story behind my hand. I was actually born left-handed. Yes, I am technically a lefty, but I grew up in Romania in the 1980s during the communist era, and when I was in my first grade, my teacher decided that I was going to learn to write with my right hand. So I learned to write with my right hand, and after all these years, my right hand became the hand I automatically use for practically everything: writing, drawing, crafting. So when I saw this page, I immediately thought, wait a minute, this isn't really going to be a normal dominant hand versus non-dominant hand experiment, because my left hand was technically the hand I naturally started with, but my right hand is the one that has decades of practice. And suddenly, I became really curious. What can my left hand can actually do? Now, for the drawing itself, I wanted to choose something that was simple enough to reproduce, but still had enough details to actually make the experiment interesting. So, I went onto Pinterest looking for a simple mushroom illustration, and I found one that I really liked. Just to be clear, the mushroom I am drawing here is not my original design. I found the reference on Pinterest and decided to use it as a drawing reference for this experiment. So, credit goes to the original creator of that illustration. I am not trying to claim the design as my own, I am simply using it as a reference to see how differently my two hands can reproduce the same image. And I thought a mushroom would be perfect because it has nice combination of simple shapes and little details. So, this is the one I chose. And now I'm going to start with my right hand. Honestly, this part feels completely normal. I don't really have to think about how I'm holding the pencil or where my hand needs to go. The lines just happen. That's the thing about doing something for years and years. You don't think about every little movement anymore. Your hand just knows. So I am taking my time with this first mushroom. I am adding the spots, the big mushroom cap, the eyes, the little body, the grass, and the leaves. And I am actually quite happy with it. This is the version my right hand knows how to make. It feels comfortable, it feels familiar, and then, yeah, this is me drawing with my right hand. And then comes the scary part. Box number 2. Same drawing, same idea, but now I'm switching to my left hand. And immediately, oh no, my hand is shaking. And I suddenly became aware of every single movement my hand was making. With my right hand, I don't think about drawing a line. With my left hand, my brain is basically giving me a full set of instructions. Okay, move the pencil here. Now curve it. No, not that much. Slow down. Why are we shaking? Please stop shaking. And I think the funniest part is that I actually became scared of making a mistake, which is ridiculous, because the whole point of this page is to see the difference. It's supposed to be imperfect. I'm literally supposed to show what happens when I use my non-dominant hand. But knowing that didn't stop me from trying to make it look good, because apparently my brain did not receive the memo. So I started, and already I could feel the difference. The movements weren't automatic anymore. I had to concentrate on every curve, and then came the little spots. And I swear, those tiny spots suddenly became the most complicated things I have ever drawn in my entire life. With my right hand, I just put them where I needed them to go. With my left hand, every single one was a negotiation. But I kept going. And this is where the experiment became more interesting for me than I expected, because my left hand wasn't completely incapable. It was just untrained. there is a difference. I knew what I wanted to draw, my brain could see the image, I just didn't have the ears and the muscle memory behind the movement. And yeah, that became really obvious when I got to the details. The eyes were probably the funniest part. I was trying so hard to make them match the first mushroom, and the left hand was basically saying, absolutely not. But I kept going, and I didn't erase everything, I didn't start over. I wanted to see what actually would happen if I just trusted the hand and let it to do what I could do. So, the mushroom cap isn't exactly the same. The spots aren't exactly the same. The grass is definitely doing its own thing. The leaves are, they are leaves. But you know what? It's still a mushroom. And honestly, I was expecting much worse. I really thought that when I was finished, it would look completely chaotic. But when I put the two drawings next to each other, I could actually see the similarities. The proportions, a bit off, but they are there. The basic shape is there. The character is recognizable. My left hand actually managed to recreate the drawing, and that surprised me a lot. I went into this thing thinking that my left hand was basically useless for drawing, but apparently it isn't. It just needs training. And I think that's something I want to explore a little more, because after this experiment, I actually want to start training my left hand. Not because I need to replace my right hand, not because I suddenly want to become ambidextrous, but because I am curious. I wonder what would happen if I gave that hand a little bit of practice, maybe 5 or 10 minutes a day. So, maybe this little Create This Book page ended up being about more than just comparing two drawings. Maybe it reminded me that sometimes we decide that we are bad at something simply because we haven't practiced it. And maybe our hands and our brains are capable of learning much more than we give them credit for. So, there we have it. Right hand versus left hand. Right hand confident, practice, and completely in control. Left hand nervous, shaking, slightly chaotic, but hey, she did it. And honestly, I am proud of my left hand. So, I am definitely keeping this page exactly as is. The wonky lines, the uneven spots, the shaky grass, all of it, because that's the experiment and that's the story. And who knows, maybe this isn't the last time you see my left hand drawing. Maybe this is just day one. Now, I think I need to go give this poor hand a little break, because apparently drawing one mushroom has been an extreme athletic event. And yes, I absolutely think my little mouse on the page has earned the right to say, you are possum. So, if you enjoyed coming along for this little experiment, don't forget to leave me a thumbs up. It really helps the channel. And if you're not already subscribed, consider joining me here, because there are plenty more pages waiting to be created. And, knowing me, probably plenty more chaos to happen. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. And remember, you don't have to be perfect to create something worth keeping. Until next time, bye guys!